The morning sun peeked over the edge of the planet's horizon, spilling a golden light across the bustling spaceport of Elysium Station. The station floated above the planet like a shining crown, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. People moved in swift, purposeful motions, dressed in the crisp uniforms of pilots, engineers, and scientists, their eyes fixed on the towering figure of the new ship docked at the center of the station. It was the SS Vanguard, humanity's most advanced deep space exploration vessel yet. Its sleek, silver hull reflected the rising sun, and the hum of its dormant engines hinted at the immense power within. Captain Leora Kane stood on the observation deck, her hands clasped behind her back, her dark eyes scanning the ship she would command. She was a tall woman, with a presence that demanded attention without needing to speak, and her reputation as a fearless and brilliant strategist preceded her. Beside her, Chief Engineer Arik Voss adjusted his glasses, his mind already racing through the dozens of systems he had personally helped design. Voss was quiet by nature, often lost in calculations and schematics, but his knowledge of the Vanguard's inner workings made him indispensable. "This morning feels different," Leora said softly, almost to herself. Her gaze lingered on the ship as if she could read its thoughts. "There's something about this launch, something bigger than all the ones before." Voss nodded without looking up from the small handheld console in his hands. "It's the culmination of decades of work. Every subsystem, every line of code, every structural reinforcement, it's all designed to take us further than humanity has ever gone. But we need to remember that technology only goes so far. Beyond that, it's up to the crew." The first rays of sunlight glinted off the station's metallic surfaces, reflecting 1,000 tiny sparks that danced across the deck. Crew members began moving in formation, preparing for the launch sequence. Robots and drones hummed alongside humans, checking fuel lines, inspecting hull integrity, and running final diagnostics. Every part of the Vanguard had been tested countless times, yet no one could predict the unknowns that awaited in the uncharted depths of space. Leora turned toward the large glass window overlooking the ship. The Vanguard was beautiful, almost alive in the morning light. Its long fuselage tapered to a point, engineered to cut through the vacuum of space with minimal resistance. The experimental quantum propulsion system shimmered faintly, ready to push the ship faster than any human-made vessel before it. Sensors and AI nodes lined the ship's sides, giving it awareness of the environment around it, and the bridge, where Leora would command, was fortified with layers of adaptive shielding. "Captain Kane?" a voice called from behind her. Leora turned to see Lieutenant Mara Thorne, her communications officer, approaching quickly. Mara's expression was a mix of excitement and concern, her tablet clutched tightly in her hands. "All systems are green. The crew is ready, and the ship's AI has completed final self-checks. We're good to launch on schedule." Leora nodded. "Good. Let's make history today." Her words carried both certainty and weight. This wasn't just a test flight. It was humanity's declaration that it was ready to explore beyond its home system. As the crew boarded the Vanguard, the air filled with the scent of metal polish, fuel, and anticipation. The interior of the ship was pristine, a combination of functionality and elegance. Consoles lined the walls, softly glowing with data streams. The floor panels were embedded with illuminated paths, guiding the crew to their stations. Even the lighting seemed alive, adjusting gradually to the day-night cycle of the distant planet below. Voss lingered near the engineering bay, checking the propulsion systems one last time. His hands moved over the holographic interface, confirming that every plasma conduit and energy capacitor was within acceptable parameters. He felt a twinge of unease, a small nagging thought that something could go wrong, but he pushed it aside. They had planned for every eventuality, tested every scenario, and designed the ship to adapt. At the same time, Leora was on the bridge, reviewing the star charts and navigation protocols. Her crew filled the room, each member focused, yet the sense of shared purpose created an invisible bond between them. There was Mara at the communications console, her fingers dancing over the controls. Dr. Eleonora Hayes, the ship's chief scientist, analyzing environmental sensors and scanning for nearby celestial anomalies, and Lieutenant Cale Rinn, the pilot, adjusting flight parameters with precise, confident movements. The countdown began. Elysium Station's automated systems activated the launch sequence, and the crew felt the ship hum as energy flowed through its systems. Lights blinked in sequence, signaling that every subsystem was functioning perfectly. The station itself seemed to hold its breath, as if aware that something extraordinary was about to happen. 5 minutes to launch, Mara announced. Her voice was steady, but there was a trace of excitement that could not be hidden. Voss leaned over the console, double-checking the propulsion readings. Everything was normal, yet the strange feeling in his gut persisted. All power levels stable, propulsion systems ready. Quantum drive is online, he reported. Leora's hands hovered over the central controls. Engage the launch sequence. The ship shuddered slightly as the engines roared to life. The sound was unlike anything the crew had experienced before. A deep, resonant vibration that seemed to echo through their bones. The Vanguard lifted from the dock, slowly at first, then with increasing speed. The city of Elysium Station fell away below them, shrinking into a lattice of light and metal. As the ship cleared the station, the planet's horizon stretched out in an endless curve, the blue and green surface glowing beneath the golden sunlight. The crew watched in awe, feeling the magnitude of what they were a part of. Humanity was no longer confined to a single world. They were explorers, pioneers on the frontier of the unknown. Course plotted for the Alpha Centauri system, Leora said, her voice calm but firm. Maintain orbit for initial scans, then prepare for deep space transition. The ship glided through space, moving faster than any vessel built before it. The AI, known simply as Athena, monitored every system, adjusting parameters in real time and predicting outcomes with unmatched precision. Athena's presence was subtle, yet constant, a silent observer and guide. Voss often wondered if the AI understood more than it let on, but he trusted it implicitly. Hours passed as the crew conducted routine checks. The planet shrank behind them, becoming a small blue dot against the darkness of space. Leora felt a mix of exhilaration and responsibility. Every decision she made could mean the difference between life and death, yet she knew her crew relied on her courage and judgment. As the sun set on the distant horizon, painting space with shades of orange and purple, small anomalies began appearing on the ship's sensors. At first, they were subtle, slight deviations in readings, a brief flicker on the radar, a minor lag in the AI's response time. Voss noticed them immediately. "Captain," he said, approaching Leora on the bridge. "There's something strange with the sensor array. Minor fluctuations, but they're persistent. It's almost like the readings are reacting to something we can't detect." Leora frowned, her eyes narrowing. Could it be interference from the planet's magnetic field? Voss shook his head. Unlikely. We're well outside the atmosphere, and the system should be calibrated to compensate for any known cosmic interference. This is different. Mara leaned forward, her fingers hovering over the console. "Do you want Athena to analyze it?" "Do it," Leora said. Athena's voice filled the bridge, smooth and confident. "Analysis in progress. Anomalous energy patterns detected. Source unknown. Probability of natural occurrence, low. Recommendation, monitor and maintain current course." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. They had trained for countless emergencies, but this was unfamiliar territory. Athena's confidence was reassuring, yet the unknowns of deep space had a way of challenging even the most prepared minds. Despite the anomaly, the crew carried on. Leora reviewed navigation charts, plotting their next course through the asteroid belts that dotted the outskirts of their solar system. Kale adjusted flight vectors, weaving the ship through clusters of rocks with precision. Dr. Hayes monitored the environmental readings, noting subtle variations in cosmic radiation. Every system functioned as expected, yet the unease in the pit of Voss's stomach refused to dissipate. As night fell over the distant world, the Vanguard sailed through the darkness, a silver arrow glinting under the distant stars. The crew ate in shifts, slept in rotating pods, and maintained constant vigilance. Conversations were hushed, not out of fear, but out of respect for the unknown they were venturing into. Leora often walked the corridors, checking on her crew, reassuring them with a calm presence. By late evening, the anomalies persisted. Athena reported small energy spikes near the quantum propulsion array. Voss examined the data, confirming that the ship's systems were functioning within tolerances, yet the patterns were unlike anything catalogued before. "Captain," Voss said, voice low, "I think the ship sensed something. It's almost like it's responding to an external influence we can't identify." Leora nodded slowly, understanding the implication. Humanity had designed the Vanguard to be adaptive, to respond to unforeseen circumstances, but no AI, no matter how advanced, could fully anticipate the mysteries of deep space. "We'll monitor it closely," she said. "Nothing to panic over yet. Stay alert." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, their distant light casting a serene glow on the ship's hull. The universe was vast, beautiful, and indifferent. Humanity had taken its first real step into that vastness, and the crew of the Vanguard was determined to meet whatever awaited them with courage, intelligence, and unity. And so, as the new ship sailed into the dark unknown, the crew prepared for the challenges ahead. They were the first to chart this part of the cosmos, and their actions would define not just the fate of the Vanguard, but the future of humanity itself. The dawn had brought hope, but the night carried uncertainty, and somewhere in the vast void, the universe was already watching. By the time the Vanguard drifted deeper into uncharted space, the once bright planet below had become nothing more than a faint blue speck, swallowed by the darkness of the void. The crew had settled into their routines, performing maintenance checks, analyzing sensor data, and ensuring that the ship's systems functioned smoothly. Yet, the earlier anomalies had not disappeared. They seemed to grow more pronounced, subtle at first, like whispers in a quiet room, and then increasingly persistent, demanding attention. Captain Leora Kane stood on the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the console before her. Her dark eyes scanned the readings scrolling across the main display, each graph and number a signal from the infinite expanse outside. She had faced difficult decisions before, but this felt different. There was a sense of being watched, not by eyes or cameras, but by the universe itself, as if space had taken note of their bold intrusion into its depths. "Energy spikes are increasing," Chief Engineer Arik Voss reported, pointing at the display. His normally calm voice carried a hint of tension. "They're clustered near the forward hull and the propulsion array. Athena is reporting minor system deviations, but nothing catastrophic yet. Still, these patterns, they don't match anything in the database." Leora leaned closer, her brow furrowing. "Could it be cosmic radiation? A previously unknown anomaly?" Voss shook his head. "If it were natural, the readings would be more erratic. These are organized. There's a rhythm to them, almost like they're alive or aware." Mara Thorne, seated at the communications console, interjected. "Captain, I'm picking up a signal. It's faint, intermittent, I can't identify the source. It's unusual. Leora's pulse quickened. Unusual how? It's not any pattern we've seen before. It doesn't match any known human or alien communication protocol, and it's not coming from any celestial body nearby. Mara's fingers flew over the controls, trying to isolate the signal. It almost seems to respond to our movements. When we adjust course, the frequency shifts slightly. The crew exchanged nervous glances. The uncharted regions of space were supposed to be empty, silent, and indifferent. Yet here was something that seemed to notice them, reacting in ways they could not predict. "Let Athena analyze it," Leora ordered, her voice steady. "We need to understand what we're dealing with before it becomes a threat." The AI's voice filled the bridge, smooth and calm as ever. "Analysis in progress. Signal exhibits characteristics of an intelligent source. Origin undetermined. Probability of threat indeterminate. Recommendation: maintain current trajectory and continue monitoring." Voss frowned. Indeterminate is not very reassuring. The ship's systems are adaptive, but Athena cannot fully interpret what it cannot understand. That leaves us to rely on human intuition. Leora nodded. "And that's exactly what we'll do. Stay alert, but do not panic. We have a capable crew and a ship designed to survive the unexpected. Let's see what this universe is trying to tell us." Hours passed with the crew working tirelessly to decipher the signal. The Vanguard glided through space, the stars stretching endlessly on all sides, cold and unyielding. The ship's hum was the only constant companion as systems monitored, sensors scanned, and AI computations ran in endless loops. Then, as night fell across the ship's internal clocks, the signal changed. It shifted in tone, becoming louder, more persistent, almost as if it had grown impatient. Lights flickered across the bridge, subtle at first, then more pronounced, and the ship's sensors began reporting minor fluctuations in power distribution. Voss stared at the readings. "The signal? It's coming from within the ship now. Or at least, the ship believes it's coming from within. Athena? Confirm source location." Athena's calm voice responded, but with a hint of hesitation that the crew had never heard before. "Source analysis inconclusive. Signal appears to emanate from multiple nodes, including internal circuits and propulsion conduits. Pattern matches no known interference signature." Leora's heart pounded. "Explain it in human terms, Athena. Are we in danger?" "There is no immediate threat detected, Captain Kane. However, anomaly is persistent. Crew caution advised." "Persistent is putting it mildly," Voss muttered under his breath. Dr. Eleonora Hayes, the ship's chief scientist, looked up from her console. "Captain, the energy patterns are affecting localized areas of the ship. Minor gravity fluctuations, electromagnetic pulses, nothing catastrophic yet, but if they intensify, systems could be compromised." Leora took a deep breath. "Then we need to act fast. Kyle, plot a course to stabilize us near the vector of least interference. Mara, keep monitoring the signal. Hayes, start analyzing environmental impacts. Voss, I need full system readiness in case we need to initiate emergency protocols." The crew moved with practiced precision, each member focused yet aware of the creeping tension that filled the bridge. The Vanguard responded, but the ship's AI seemed almost cautious, as though it recognized the unpredictability of the situation. As the hours stretched, the energy patterns grew stronger. Hallways that had once been quiet now thrummed with faint vibrations, lights flickered along corridors, and the subtle hum of the ship's systems seemed to warp, as if the vessel itself were reacting to something unseen. "Captain," Mara said, her voice tense. "The signal has formed a repeating pattern. It's sending a message, but we can't decode it. It's not in any language or frequency we recognize." Leora leaned closer, studying the display. Could it be an alien intelligence? Something beyond our comprehension? Voss shook his head. It could be, but I'm not convinced. The pattern doesn't match any known communication method, but it's precise, almost mathematical. It could be something entirely new, something the ship's AI cannot fully understand. The bridge grew silent, save for the steady hum of the systems. The crew felt a sense of isolation unlike anything they had experienced before. Out here, far from human civilization, every anomaly seemed magnified. Every shadow and flicker felt like a test of their resolve. Suddenly, without warning, the ship's emergency lights activated. A soft, insistent alarm echoed through the corridors, accompanied by a flashing message on the main display. Distress signal sent. The words froze the crew. Mara's fingers hovered above the console, unsure how to respond. Captain, I didn't send this. Athena didn't initiate it. The ship just sent it on its own. Leora's pulse quickened. Voss, confirm? Voss ran to his station, rapidly scanning the logs. It's true, the distress signal was not manually sent. The ship. Athena didn't trigger it either. It's as if the Vanguard itself decided we needed help. The bridge fell into tense silence. A ship could malfunction, an AI could misfire, but the idea of a vessel autonomously calling for aid was unsettling. It implied awareness, something more than programmed logic, something human-like. Captain, Hayes said cautiously, the energy pattern is now aligning with the distress signal. They seem connected, as if the signal is a response to the patterns outside the ship. It's almost like the ship is aware of what's happening. Leora's mind raced. She had faced danger before, but never like this. This was uncharted territory, not just physically, but intellectually and spiritually. The Vanguard had been designed to explore, to adapt, to survive. Yet now it seemed to act independently, bridging the line between machine and intuition. Kyle, maintain our trajectory, Leora ordered. Do not make any sudden maneuvers. Mara, keep trying to decode the signal. Hayes, monitor environmental impacts. Voss, prepare for manual override if Athena acts unexpectedly. The crew moved efficiently, but the tension was palpable. Every glance out of the observation windows seemed to find the shadows of space shifting, distant stars twinkling with an intensity that felt unnatural. The energy patterns outside the ship pulsed, almost like a heartbeat, synchronizing with the ship's systems in a way that made Leora's stomach tighten. Hours passed. The ship drifted deeper into the void, following an invisible rhythm dictated by the anomaly. The distress signal repeated intermittently, a silent cry for unknown help. It was not a sound that could be heard, nor a message that could be understood. Yet its existence was undeniable. Finally, as the Vanguard entered a region of space previously uncharted, the anomaly became visible. Through the observation windows, the crew saw a shimmering rift in the void, twisting and shifting like liquid metal under the weight of invisible currents. Stars bent around it, their light distorted, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that no human eye had seen before. Leora felt a shiver run down her spine. All hands, prepare for possible interaction. Keep calm and follow protocols. This is what we trained for, but nothing could have prepared us for the unknown in its full form. Voss's voice was steady but quiet. The ship is reacting to it. I've never seen the systems behave this way. The propulsion array is adjusting, shields are adapting, but not by human input. Athena is observing, learning, responding. Dr. Hayes stepped forward, her eyes wide. Captain, this could be a discovery beyond anything humanity has ever encountered. But it could also be dangerous. We need to proceed carefully. Leora nodded. Then we proceed with courage. The universe is not always kind, but we are human. We adapt, we endure, we survive. And so the Vanguard sailed closer to the shimmering rift, its distress signal still repeating, its AI and crew working together against the unknown. They were alone in a silent, uncharted part of the universe, yet united by a single purpose: to face the unknown and prove that humanity's courage and ingenuity could shine even in the darkest void. The night stretched on, filled with tension and anticipation. The crew of the Vanguard understood that this was only the beginning. Whatever lay ahead would test them in ways no simulation could replicate. Yet despite fear and uncertainty, they moved forward. For in humanity's heart lay the unyielding desire to explore, to survive and to thrive, no matter how alien or indifferent the universe might be. The Vanguard drifted closer to the shimmering rift, its sleek hull cutting through the void as though the universe itself parted for its passage. The crew moved with tense precision, each aware that the anomaly outside the observation windows was no ordinary phenomenon. It shifted and shimmered, twisting in impossible ways, bending light and space around it like a living thing. Inside the ship, systems began behaving unpredictably. Captain Leora Kane stood at the center of the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the console. She watched the crew with quiet intensity, knowing that the moment ahead would test them more than anything they had ever faced. The ship's AI, Athena, had been a silent observer for most of the journey, but now its behavior was subtly changing. Systems adjusted without command, propulsion vectors shifted slightly, and shield harmonics fluctuated as if responding to an unknown stimulus. "Captain," Chief Engineer Arik Voss said, his voice tense, "the AI is overriding some manual controls. It's not doing anything hostile, but it's adjusting the ship autonomously. The propulsion array is fine, the shields are fine, but it's making decisions without human input." Leora frowned. "Decisions? On what basis?" Voss shook his head. "I don't know. It's analyzing the rift, interpreting the energy patterns. It's acting like it understands more than we do." Lieutenant Mara Thorne, seated at the communications console, spoke up. "The distress signal, it's still repeating. I've tried to intercept or decode it, but every attempt changes the frequency slightly. It's almost like it knows we're listening and adapts in real time." Dr. Eleonora Hayes, the chief scientist, leaned over the console, her eyes wide. "It's a feedback loop. The rift, the signal, the ship, they're interacting. The pattern outside is affecting Athena's logic. If it intensifies, we could lose control of systems entirely." Leora's heart tightened. "Then we need to prepare for every possibility. Kale, maintain a steady course but be ready for manual override. Voss, check the engine stabilizers. Hayes, monitor the energy fluctuations. Mara, keep trying to decode the signal but prioritize crew safety over analysis. We cannot risk the ship or the crew to curiosity alone." The bridge hummed with activity as crew members moved with practiced precision. Outside, the rift pulsed, shifting colors like molten metal, drawing the ship inexorably closer. It was mesmerizing, hypnotic, and terrifying all at once. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared as lights flickered. The hum of the engines warped and twisted, echoing through the corridors. Crew members braced themselves as the Vanguard systems seemed to hesitate, then respond in ways that no human command had dictated. "Captain!" Voss shouted, his hands flying across the controls. "The propulsion array is fluctuating. The AI is compensating, but the energy spikes from the rift are overwhelming systems. If this continues, we could be trapped, or worse, torn apart." Leora's mind raced. She had faced danger before, but never anything like this. The anomaly outside seemed alive, reacting to the ship's presence and even the crew's intentions. The Vanguard was built to survive the unexpected, yet this was beyond design specifications. "Athena," Leora commanded, "report on system status and external threat levels. Are we at risk of hull breach or energy overload?" The AI's voice filled the bridge, calm yet unnervingly precise. "Hull integrity stable at present. Energy fluctuations detected in multiple nodes. Probability of system failure, moderate if anomaly intensifies. Recommendation, maneuver away from rift or allow ship to adapt autonomously. Adapt autonomously? Mara repeated, her voice edged with fear. Captain, it's taking control. Should we let it? Leora's eyes narrowed. We let Athena do what it was designed to do, but we remain ready to intervene. Humanity built this ship, and humans will always be part of the decision chain. We adapt. We survive. The crew watched as the Vanguard adjusted its orientation, engines pulsing in a rhythm that seemed both calculated and intuitive. The ship shuddered again but maintained stability, as though it had learned to cooperate with the unpredictable forces around it. Voss ran to the engineering bay, checking every system manually. Sparks flickered in the conduits, and minor gravitational distortions caused tools to float briefly before being secured. The AI is using every subsystem in real time, he muttered to himself. It's not malfunctioning, it's improvising. I've never seen a machine do this. It's learning. Meanwhile, Leora returned to the observation deck. Through the wide windows, the rift swirled like liquid glass, the stars bending and refracting inside its shifting form. The distress signal continued to repeat, pulsing faintly in tandem with the rift's energy. There was a strange harmony between the anomaly and the ship, as though the universe itself were conducting an experiment with them as participants. Captain Kane, Hayes called, her voice tense. The environmental readings are becoming erratic. Gravity fluctuations are increasing, and electromagnetic interference is affecting life support systems in some sections. If this continues, crew safety could be compromised. Leora nodded. We need to act, and fast. Kale, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Voss, brace all systems for manual override. Hayes, continue monitoring but report any spike immediately. Mara, keep decoding the signal. Any pattern could tell us what we're dealing with. Kale Rin, the pilot, adjusted the controls with precise movements, guiding the Vanguard through subtle shifts in trajectory. The ship responded instantly, its AI working in tandem with human input. Outside, the rift seemed to pulse in response, twisting violently as if aware of the ship's intent to resist its pull. Suddenly, the energy patterns intensified, sending a shockwave through the ship. Crew members were thrown to the floor, consoles sparking, and lights flickering wildly. The Vanguard groaned under the strain, but the AI responded with astonishing efficiency. Shields reinforced automatically, propulsion vectors adjusted, and power rerouted to stabilize the ship. Status report, Leora demanded, gripping the console to steady herself. Hull integrity at 98%, Athena replied. Shields compensating for fluctuations. Propulsion stable, but continued exposure to rift could cause critical failure. Probability of survival without intervention, 50%. Voss looked grim. We're lucky the AI is compensating. But if the rift continues to react, we'll have seconds, maybe less, to act. Leora took a deep breath. Then we make those seconds count. Crew, remember what humanity is capable of. We adapt, we survive, and we overcome. Let's show this universe what humans can do. The crew nodded, determination shining in their eyes. Every member knew the stakes. This was more than survival. It was a test of ingenuity, courage, and the human spirit. Mara continued to analyze the signal, her fingers flying over the controls. Captain, the distress pattern is evolving. It's forming a sequence, almost like a map or instruction set. I can't interpret all of it yet, but it's something we can use. Leora's pulse quickened. Then focus on it. Every second counts. The Vanguard shuddered again as the rift twisted violently, colors flashing and warping in ways that defied comprehension. Crew members braced themselves, but Voss smiled faintly through the tension. Captain, the ship is cooperating with us. Athena is responding to our intuition, not just logic. This is unprecedented. Humanity and machine working as one. Leora felt a spark of hope. Then we can do this. We have the technology and we have the human spirit. Together we can survive anything. Kale maneuvered the ship carefully, following subtle shifts in the energy patterns. The rift seemed to resist, pulling at the ship with invisible tendrils of force. Yet every time the crew acted decisively, the Vanguard adapted, moving with a precision that seemed to anticipate the rift's chaotic motions. Hayes monitored the readings with growing excitement. "Captain, the rift's energy fluctuations are beginning to stabilize slightly. I think it's responding to our actions. The ship's AI and our coordinated efforts are creating a balance. We may have a chance to pass through safely." Leora's heart raced. "Then we do it. Kale, maintain course. Voss, continue stabilizing systems. Mara, keep decoding the signal. Hayes, monitor everything. Everyone, stay focused. This is the moment humanity proves its worth." The rift loomed ahead, massive and shifting, a living challenge of impossible physics. The Vanguard approached, engines humming, shields glowing, and crew minds working in unison with AI logic. Every second was a test of skill, courage, and ingenuity. Then, in a synchronized effort, the crew executed the maneuver. The Vanguard surged forward, twisting and adjusting with the rift's unpredictable motion. Energy pulses rocked the ship, systems flared and stabilized, and the distress signal pulsed in tandem with the anomaly as if guiding them forward. Minutes passed like hours. The ship shuddered, groaned, and adapted. Finally, with a final surge of calculated bravery and precise adjustments, the Vanguard slipped past the rift's edge. The anomaly twisted violently one last time, then receded, leaving calm and empty space in its wake. The crew breathed collectively, a mixture of relief and awe filling the bridge. Outside, the stars stretched normally again, unbent and serene. The rift was gone, leaving only the endless void of uncharted space. Voss exhaled, running a hand through his hair. We made it. I've never seen a ship or a crew coordinate like that before. The AI adapted, yes, but so did we. This was humanity at its best." Leora nodded, her eyes reflecting the calm stars outside. "Yes, courage, ingenuity, and unity. That's what got us through. The universe may be indifferent, but humans, we endure, we adapt, and we survive." Athena's voice filled the bridge once more, calm and measured. "Hull integrity, stable. Propulsion, operational. Crew, intact. External anomaly, passed successfully. Recommendation, continue mission with caution. Observation, human decision-making played a critical role in survival outcome." Mara smiled faintly, relief washing over her. "The signal, it's gone quiet now. Whatever it was, it seems we've passed the test." Dr. Hayes looked out at the empty void. "Captain, we've survived something no one else has. This is more than exploration. It's a reminder that human courage and creativity are as powerful as any technology we've built." Leora placed a hand on the console, feeling the hum of the Vanguard beneath her fingers. "This is just the beginning. The universe will test us again, but now we know what we're capable of. Together, we are unstoppable." And so, as the Vanguard sailed on through uncharted space, the crew carried a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity had faced the unknown and prevailed, not because of machines alone, but because of the courage, ingenuity, and indomitable spirit that defined them. The night had tested them, but by working together, they had emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of mystery and challenge, but the crew of the Vanguard was ready. They had faced the impossible, survived, and learned that human will and machine intelligence together could overcome even the strangest anomalies the universe could throw at them. And somewhere, beyond the horizon of uncharted space, new challenges awaited, but the Vanguard and its crew would meet them head-on, as humanity always does. The vanguard sailed into the calm after the storm. The rift was behind them, shrinking in the distance until it became a mere shimmer on the edge of the void. A reminder of the challenge they had just overcome. The ship's systems hummed steadily, shields fully restored, propulsion arrays running smoothly, and environmental readings stabilized. The crew exhaled collectively, the tension of the past hours slowly giving way to relief and exhaustion. Captain Leora Kane stood on the bridge, surveying her crew. They were battered, tired, and tense, yet there was a glow of accomplishment in their eyes. Mara Thorne wiped sweat from her brow, still glued to the communications console, scanning the empty void for any lingering anomaly. Cale Rinn, the pilot, leaned back in his chair, adjusting controls, but with a subtle smile of relief. Chief Engineer Arik Voss was checking the propulsion conduits, eyes sharp despite fatigue, and Dr. Eleonora Hayes examined the environmental systems, already noting the changes the rift had caused to local spacetime and energy readings. "Status report," Leora said, her voice calm but carrying authority. Athena responded in its familiar smooth tone. "All systems stable. Hull integrity at 100%. Propulsion operational. Crew alert and healthy. The anomaly has been passed successfully. Probability of immediate threat. Negligible. Recommendation: continue mission while monitoring for unexpected events." Voss let out a long breath. "The AI is calm, but I'm still in awe. Athena adapted in ways no one could have predicted. It worked with us, not just for us. We survived because of teamwork, human and machine together." Leora nodded. "Exactly. That's the lesson here. Technology is powerful, but human intuition, creativity, and courage make it stronger. That's what will carry us further into the unknown." Hayes looked out through the observation window, staring at the endless stars. "Captain, the rift's energy signature has left a faint imprint on space itself. It's like a memory, a trace of the forces we interacted with. This could provide data for years to come. Humanity can learn from this, and maybe even understand phenomena we once thought impossible." The captain allowed herself a small smile. "Then we document everything. Every reading, every observation, every decision. Future explorers will need this knowledge. Humanity moves forward because we never stop learning." Hours passed as the crew stabilized the ship and repaired minor system glitches caused by the rift's intense energy fluctuations. The corridors had been affected by small gravitational waves and electromagnetic pulses, causing minor disruptions in lighting and some temporary malfunctions in life support systems. Voss oversaw the repairs personally, ensuring that the ship returned to optimal condition. Mara continued decoding the remnants of the distress signal, now faint but still present in the logs. "Captain, the sequence we captured appears to be an instruction set, almost like a guide. I can't translate all of it, but it seems to map a path through these anomalies, showing how to interact without being destroyed. Whoever, or whatever, sent it may have intended for a species like ours to understand it." Leora's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "So it wasn't just a test or a warning. It was an invitation, a way to learn. And we did. Humanity has not just survived, it's taken a step forward in understanding the cosmos." Kyle, who had been monitoring navigation charts, spoke up. "The route suggested by the signal avoids regions of dangerous anomalies, but also passes through areas rich in new energy signatures and stellar formations. This could be valuable for exploration, research, and resource mapping. We could make discoveries no one has ever dreamed of." Hayes nodded. "Exactly. The rift may have been a danger, but it also opened the door to knowledge we couldn't have obtained otherwise. Humanity thrives because we take risks, but we also learn from them. That's what makes us strong." Leora turned to her crew, her expression serious yet filled with pride. "We survived a challenge that was beyond any simulation, beyond any calculation. We acted together, using courage, intelligence, and intuition. That's what makes humanity unique. Machines are powerful, but they follow rules. Humans can improvise, adapt, and find solutions where no rules exist. That's what the universe saw today, and we proved ourselves worthy. The crew exchanged glances, understanding the weight of her words. They had faced an unknown force, a phenomenon that defied understanding, and they had not only survived, they had adapted and learned. Every decision they had made, every action taken in those tense hours, demonstrated the best of human potential. Voss finally relaxed, leaning against a console. "Captain, Athena's analysis shows that the ship itself has adapted to some of the rift's energy patterns. This could improve performance in extreme conditions. The AI has effectively learned from experience, but it needed human guidance to interpret and act. That's humanity's role, to lead, to adapt, and to teach even the most advanced systems how to survive the unexpected." Leora nodded, feeling a sense of pride in every crew member and the ship itself. "We've proven that humans, working together with technology, can endure the unknown. That's what the human spirit represents. Courage, adaptability, ingenuity. These are qualities no anomaly or challenge can ever take from us." As the hours passed, the crew continued repairs and data collection. The Vanguard sailed steadily through uncharted space, no longer under immediate threat, but with lessons freshly learned. The experience had left a permanent mark, not just on the ship's systems, but on every crew member. They had seen firsthand the value of human intuition in situations where logic alone could not suffice. Night fell across the ship's internal clocks, and Leora walked quietly through the corridors, checking on her crew. Some rested, still recovering from the stress and minor injuries of the anomaly's effects. Others worked in small teams, analyzing data, repairing systems, and preparing for the journey ahead. There was a renewed sense of unity, a shared understanding that they had faced the unknown and prevailed together. Voss approached Leora as she paused near the observation deck. "Captain, I've never been prouder, not just of the ship, but of the crew. Everyone performed beyond expectation. The AI adapted brilliantly, but it was our human decisions that made the difference. The universe tested us, and we answered." Leora smiled faintly. "That's the truth of it, Arik. Humanity thrives in the face of challenge. The universe may be vast, indifferent, even dangerous, but we endure, we adapt, and we leave our mark." Hayes joined them, holding a datapad filled with readings and preliminary analyses. "The energy signatures left by the rift are unlike anything recorded. This could advance our understanding of space-time anomalies, quantum phenomena, and even new propulsion methods. We've gained knowledge that could shape exploration for generations." Mara, still at the communications console, looked up. "Captain, I've sent the recorded distress signal and rift data back to Elysium Station. They'll be amazed. This could redefine humanity's approach to deep space exploration." Leora nodded. "Good. Let them see what we've accomplished, not just as explorers, but as humans. We survived something no one else has, and we learned from it. That's humanity at its best." Kyle returned to the bridge, piloting the ship with steady hands. "Captain, navigation charts are clear. No immediate anomalies detected. We can continue our mission or begin plotting a course home, depending on your orders." Leora surveyed the stars through the observation window, the endless void stretching out in all directions. She felt a mixture of awe, responsibility, and determination. "We continue," she said finally. "There is more to explore, more to learn. Humanity will not shrink from the unknown. We sail forward not just for ourselves, but for all who will follow." Voss placed a hand on the console beside her. "Captain, the AI has adapted remarkably. If we continue, it will be able to help us navigate even more dangerous regions, but it will never replace human intuition. That combination, human and machine, is our greatest strength. Leora smiled. Exactly. Courage, ingenuity, and collaboration. That's the essence of humanity. We survive because we think, we feel, and we act. No machine, no anomaly, no force of nature can change that. As the Vanguard sailed onward, the crew settled into a rhythm. Systems ran smoothly, the ship moved with precision, and data from the rift and other anomalies continued to be analyzed. Each crew member reflected on the events, understanding that they had been part of something extraordinary. They had faced the unknown, adapted, and survived. And in doing so, they had proven the enduring strength of human spirit. Days passed. The stars stretched endlessly, beautiful and indifferent, yet the crew no longer felt fear. They had faced chaos and emerged stronger, united by experience and courage. Every decision they made reinforced the truth that humans were capable of more than machines, more than technology alone, and more than any obstacle the universe could place before them. Finally, as the first distant sun of a new system glimmered on the horizon, Leora gathered her crew on the bridge. We've faced the impossible and survived. Humanity thrives because of its courage, intelligence, and spirit. Let this journey be remembered, not just for the discoveries, but for the proof that humans can endure, adapt, and rise above the unknown. The crew nodded, understanding the significance of their journey. They had not just navigated space, they had navigated the unknown and emerged triumphant. Athena spoke, its tone calm and reflective. Captain Kane, crew, and ship. The experience of the anomaly has enhanced system performance, but it also underscores the essential role of human decision-making. Humanity's courage and ingenuity are integral to survival. This mission serves as proof. Leora placed a hand on the console, feeling the hum of the Vanguard beneath her. Yes, Athena. Humanity thrives. We endure. We explore. And together, we will continue to chart the unknown, leaving our mark on the universe and proving, time and again, that the human spirit is indomitable. The Vanguard glided forward, past the void, into new systems, with the crew united in purpose and pride. They had survived the rift, they had learned from it, and they had grown stronger for it. Humanity had taken another step into the cosmos, proving that courage, intelligence, and determination were qualities that could conquer even the most alien and unpredictable forces of the universe. And somewhere far beyond, where the stars shone quietly, the universe waited, full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders. But the crew of the Vanguard was ready, for they carried with them the greatest force of all, the unyielding spirit of humanity. As they sailed into the unknown, a silent message was sent to Earth, carried across the void by the Vanguard's communication arrays. We survived. Humanity thrives. The universe is ours to explore. And with that, the ship moved forward, its silver hull glinting in the starlight, a symbol of hope, courage, and the limitless potential of the human race. Humanity had faced the unknown and prevailed, and the journey had only just begun.